And welcome to the M2 podcast. This is episode 31. This is the show where we cover esports and personalities, gaming industry related news, new and upcoming games, and technology and innovation. I'm your host, Michael Anthony. My co host right here is Mr. J.K. Heath, KyleHeath. And pretty much what we like to do at the start of every episode is just do a little bit of a check in. This is like a weekly recap of gaming news. And basically, what have you been playing, Kyle?
Oh,
What's been going
dude.
on?
This week for me, I think most of my week was probably a mix of Splitgate and Smite for the most part. You know, it's funny. Like I always talk about Smite, but I feel like
Yeah.
for like since I started grinding it really again, I feel like especially when I'm playing with my friends, it's really hard for me to I feel like perform well and actually like actively try to get better. Because most of the time when I play, like I'm on autopilot and like that's why I never like feel like I improve. And like my buddies that they've been playing it, you know, longer than I have, so they're like insane and they just end up like getting all the kills and stuff. So it's like kind of hard to keep up. But I know there's definitely areas of improvement for me. So for the first time in a while, like I'm actually like putting in a little bit of time to like try and like study builds and like items and stuff like that and actually try and get better. So it's
You
pretty fun.
watching are you watching any YouTube content or specifically like filming any of your gameplay and watching it back?
I actually haven't filmed my gameplay recently. I did a few weeks back. I filmed some of my games, but for the most part I was looking up some YouTube stuff. Most of like the tips and all that. It's, you know, nothing too like there was a few things I didn't know, but I think for the most part it's kind of just like, you know, it's stuff I've come to learn over time. But yeah, I probably should like film and watch I should probably like watch film and, you know, record my stuff more. It's probably not a bad idea, but yeah. Um it's something I actively want to try and get better at, because like Smite's one of those games that has such a high skill ceiling, and there's like so much to learn. Like it's like I feel like as I learn more, it's actually really satisfying to like figure out what builds work with like certain gods and like, you know, how to like
That's pretty
attack, I
sick.
guess, you know, like when to attack and stuff like that. It's there's so many different ways to play the game, and there's so many different like roles to play. So it's about, I guess, just like for me right now, I'm just trying to hone in on one like god and just like master that and really get the hang of that role and actually try and improve. So that's that's been most of my week. Other than that, flying around a split gate mouse and key, that's been a lot of
Okay,
fun, dude.
yeah.
Just like soaring in a fast paced FPS game. It's I said it before, but it's been a while since I've actually sat down and like really like just played an FPS. So that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, Splitgate's probably one of those like underground kind of games that
Yeah,
I'm hoping pops off. Like I really am. I think what they're doing is really good. It's just I don't know what will attract like the larger audience, you know, because
yeah.
they're like really trying with the competitive scene. I think they're just missing like the metas of like a battle royale, you know, or something to draw in a younger audience and
Yeah.
more people.
Yeah, it's like the game plays really well, but like from an outsider's perspective, I know the first time I saw it, it almost looked like I don't know if it's like a Unity game or something like that, but it almost seemed like it looks kind of very like stiff, but like when you actually play, it's far from that. So like I don't know, maybe that like first impression has an effect on some people. Just like it doesn't look like your standard like COD or Overwatch in terms of like fluid movement and stuff like that. But it plays
Yeah,
really
that's
well,
true.
so it's like and I feel like probably most people probably judge a book by its cover. So it's just like, oh yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but I assure you it's fun if you if you want to try and play an FPS game.
Yeah, it's definitely new and exciting, I think. I mean, I've always given the description of like it's similar to Halo 4 but with portals. And even then it's not like an accurate description because it's a pretty fast-paced game.
Yeah,
And you're playing on mouse and keyboard, so you can be way more precise and like quicker with your portal placement, but
yeah,
there's a lack of aim assist which can make you miss a lot of shots.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's
Whereas like
a lot of shots I miss, but like the portal play, like the more I use the portals and like just being able to be at one spot of the map and then literally fly across the map and like just by walking
oh
through a
yeah.
portal is like that's like super satisfying. And like just being able to do like portal plays where like there's certain maps where you have hallway set up and there's like portal spots at the end so you can like shoot your portal and then like you can like
Shoot
peek.
through it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
like there was one I like shot a portal way down the hallway and then there was another spot I could place right in front of me. And so I was able to port there, and with that port I was able to stand behind the wall so they didn't see me and shoot them down the hallway. It's like stuff like that. It's like those plays are super satisfying. You can like only
Oh
do in a
yeah.
game like that. So it's got a definitely some skill gap and stuff there. Because like if you master the portals, you're gonna be like just all over the place, and no one's gonna be able to kill you. So there's definitely like a skill gap there to learn.
Oh, absolutely. Have you seen any of their pro league stuff?
I actually haven't, which is something I want to check out now. The more I play,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, the indie because it's basically an indie developer. They've done a really really good job of promoting like the league, and they're doing like I think they're doing like season highlights, kind of like an ESPN top 10 kind of setup, like
Nice,
after
yeah.
major tournaments, and then they do like the like blooper reels too. It's
Oh,
like
dude, dang,
like
that's
it's pretty
actually
cool,
yeah,
man. It's like it's really fascinating. I just hope they like get some type of success, you know? Like I think they're already successful. I think the weapon skins, the weapon loadouts, like the not loadouts, I should say. I think just like the weapon skins, the customizability with your character, that's like it's pretty good. There in that like all the options that you get that are free are really really nice. Like
yeah,
just by playing the game, you're unlocking like pretty sweet like skins.
yeah. No,
And the shop's still good as well.
yeah, for
Um
sure. I mean, I
it's very cool.
yeah, I mean, yeah, the skins and stuff too. I just like realized the other day there was so much stuff I had left to claim that I just never did, and so like I got
Oh
like a
yeah.
bunch of like kind of basic skins. But like also, I mean, their commitment to like esports and like trying to build a league out of that's really cool, and like just seeing all like the team skins and stuff. And it's funny, like even like Moist Esports has one, you know, like Moist Critical's
Oh yeah.
team.
Yeah.
Like they even had them like with a skin like bundle and stuff like that. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, they have I think they have like 8 partner teams. It's like it's such a cool setup. It's like they got and they have a relegation process as well. So like the team for the season that comes in last place will go down and then to a lower league, and then the lower league team, whoever wins that goes up into like a premier league. It's kind of like it's basically how like English football was set up.
Hmm.
Um it's pretty good, and, like, each team has a coach, and then they have, like, a sub every now and then, and sometimes the subs are actually from the lower league.
Oh,
So
nice.
think of it kinda like with hockey, you got, like, the NHL, which is
Yeah,
the premier hockey league, and then you have the AHL directly underneath it, and instead of relegation, they have, like each NHL team has an affiliate or some type of partnership with an AHL team, so they can like farm out or use their players, bring them to the full roster if they need it,
yeah,
which is very common when like players start getting injured towards the end of the season.
yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah,
Very interesting. But yeah, I think I was like most of my week though. I don't know. What about you, Mike? You same old, same old. Trying some new
y-
things. Mm,
nothing new, nothing new. Still a little bit of Halo Infinite. I've been doing more like studying and watching gameplay. I've been playing a little bit of Rocket League here and there. Really, man, I just I went through like 2 or 3 shows, like binge watched them all the way through. One's on Netflix called The Sandman, which is like a DC comic, and I didn't know this anything about it. I thought it was pretty good, but I hear the people that like read or like pay attention to the comics, they didn't like the adaptation on Netflix.
mm,
I don't care. I thought it was pretty cool. Uh, on Amazon Prime, I caught up with The Boys. I finished all of those episodes,
nice,
and
nice.
coming up in like 3 4 days is 3 days, no 4 days, as at the time of this recording, is the release of House of the Dragon on HBO.
Hmm.
So
Interesting.
I've been watching more and more shows than I have been playing games, and I
Yeah,
also had like some like IRL stuff going on, celebrating birthdays and like just like, I guess detoxing from, like, gaming a little bit, you know?
yeah,
For a while, I felt kinda burnt out, but, I mean, we back. I tried to load up some Star Wars earlier today. I need to get on Splitgate with you, and,
yeah, for
a couple
sure.
other games I got on the list. So many.
Yeah. Hey, man, we have those. You know, we have those moments where we just got to step away for a little bit, do some real, enjoy some life. Not to say that gaming is a no life thing, but it's good to get out
Sometimes
some.
you gotta
So
touch yeah, you just gotta touch grass sometimes. That's
definitely,
all it is.
definitely, man.
Alright, so what do you have for us at the start of the episode with the news? What's going on?
Oh, boy, do I have some news. Let me try to avoid hitting my mic stand here. So to start us off, um, we are gonna be talking about a Marvel game, an Iron Man game. This is a thing, Mike. I feel like I didn't know.
I
I mean,
I I think I heard about it and even covered it, like, a couple years ago when I first started the podcast.
Yeah.
From my recollection, is it was gonna actually be similar to Anthem.
Hmm. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, we'll go into a little detail for those that don't know. It's actually an interview that was done with MinMax. We pulled the article from IGN. But Avalanche Studios, the co-founder said that the game was in development for a couple of years before it was ultimately canceled around 2012. So this is little gaming history. Those that didn't know about this.
Yeah.
It would have been an open world game where Sandberg said they would have been able to take off and just fly anywhere. There was a clip from the actual interview. So it was a recent interview that they did with this studio to kind of cover this this sort of little piece of Marvel game history. It says the Just Cause games are chaotic open world romps filled with action explosives, so you can get the same idea of what an open world Iron Man game would have been from Avalanche if they did make it, because it was the same people that made the Just Cause games. Instead of this game from Avalanche, the Iron Man games we got at the time were not very good. Iron Man 1 and 2 movie adaptation games were poorly reviewed. I think most of those superhero games probably didn't do that well. It says, however, nearly a decade after Avalanche's Iron Man cancellation, the Iron Man VR game launched in 2012, featuring a spin-only character from outside the MCU. I didn't see too much of that. There is a little sort of review video. We're gonna get an ad, of course, but it says Marvel video games are in a much different place than they were back in 2010. From Insomniac's Spider-Man 2 to Wolverine, to Firaxis Midnight Suns. There are plenty of Marvel projects in the works. In fact, the first ever Disney and Marvel game showcase is coming next month, which I didn't know about. But yeah, that's very soon. We're already expecting to learn more about Midnight Suns, the Marvel Ensemble game from Skydance New Media, and some more. But yeah, little gameplay. If you forgot about the little Iron Man VR game, seems pretty interesting. I wish I had a VR headset because I definitely would want to go and like check this out. But it seemed kind of cool. I feel like I didn't hear too many bad things about it.
Oh, for sure. Like I I I think it's so how many Marvel games are there really in the past, I don't know, like 5 years? Because I feel like there aren't enough, right? Because of how hype
Yeah,
everybody was over like Infinity War and like just Marvel pretty much making a come up since the start of the first Iron Man, right?
yeah, yeah.
It's kind of shocking to me that there aren't as many games.
It's true. I mean, there is the Avengers, right? That Avengers game that came out, was that like a year or two ago? And
Yeah, that's true.
um and I heard, there were some people that stuck with it, but for the most part it kind of just didn't perform as well as people expected. Um
That y I heard that was the overall sentiment as well.
yeah. So which is like, I mean, it's kind of a shame because I feel like, I mean, certainly like an Avengers game, like I feel like that should be awesome, but I mean, granted, I also know they can't use like it. I feel like it'd be a huge benefit if they were able to use like the same actors from the movies like in the games, because it'd be more of a pull, and they of
Yeah.
course couldn't do that. So it's kind of hard, I guess, for some people to get that attachment. I will say though, I mean, the most recent example, I mean, the Spider-Man games they just released on PC. Those Marvel Spider-Man from the PlayStation 4 era. I mean, those are like great games, and both that and Miles Morales. So like they're very solid story driven single player games. I mean, it is Spider-Man. If they were to do something like that with Avengers, it would certainly be more difficult, I feel like. But but who knows? I think that approach on it could have been interesting, and unfortunately was not the case. Now, an Iron Man open world game, I feel like if they did that sort of like Spider-Man, that would have popped off, like dude, without
Yeah.
a doubt. Like, I feel like the Avengers approach, like it's just kind of too. At least right now, there's no like effective way to really do it. So, I mean, Spider-Man was so successful, and that's of course different voice actor, different actor playing that. I mean, but it was still really well done, and the story was very good. So, I mean, they could easily do something like that for the Iron Man universe and make something awesome out of it. I mean, probably aren't going to get you aren't going to get the typical Tony Stark that we all know and love,
Yeah.
but
Robert Downey
yeah,
Jr.
exactly.
No shot.
And you're
No
not going to get
shot.
him, right? But it's like at the same time, it doesn't matter. Like as long as if it's a good like doesn't and like I feel like the Spider-Man games like that's the thing about these is you can kind of you don't have to like go off movie material or go off comic material. You can kind of make a mesh and make something pretty good. So, but yeah, a little bit of a nice kind of documentary on what could have been for the Iron Man games. I feel like
That's
it's a missed opportunity, man.
that's true. Well, maybe it's just not an opportunity that's like come to fruition, right? Because um, Wolverine, there was a couple of Marvel movies that were based on the Wolverine character, and it basically had Hugh Jackman in it for the most part. I mean, it was like his voice, his likeness, but I mean, he
Yeah,
already looked like Wolverine, right?
right.
Um, and there are some more games coming out on the horizon that are going to be Marvel. So it's just a matter of like the execution process, I think.
Yeah,
There's like a lot of potential now that I guess what would you say like the last like 10 to 15 years like comic book heroes are now like really cool and everybody's into it.
yeah, yeah. You can thank
So,
the movies for that. I think for the most part.
oh,
Um,
100%.
but like,
Movies, like the thing is like everybody has that argument between Marvel and DC, right?
yeah,
I think Marvel has the best movies, DC has the best games, comics, and like cartoons
yeah, for sure.
because their cartoons are ridiculously good.
Yeah, they are. I
Um,
mean, dude, the Batman games, like, are you kidding me? Like, come on, man.
dude,
The
they're
Batman games are
insane.
so good. It's like, oh, they definitely got a beat there, but I mean, the Spider-Man game was a step in the right direction. So, that definitely, I
Yes,
think it's
yeah,
a formula that could be reiterated time and time again with given superheroes. So, there's definitely potential there, man. But we'll see. I mean, there's gonna be a showcase next month about, I guess, some upcoming Marvel games.
yeah.
So definitely have to check it out and see what's on the horizon. But yeah, definitely worth checking out if you want to learn more about the almost Iron Man game. That was what's there. Then again, I feel like because this was 2010, 2012, like around that era, technology definitely got a lot better in a decade about being able to really like tell that story better. So like, because like I mean, don't get me wrong, the old Spider-Man games were really good, but like there was always compromises with them. Like you didn't have as good web slinging, or you didn't have good combat, or you
Yep,
didn't have good story. But like this Spider-Man game in 2018 was the first one to nail everything. So and we have that technology where we can nail everything.
that's a
So
good
it's
point.
there, man. We got that. We're a decade later, so we got it, man. It's just a matter of and Unreal Engine 5. Come on, like
Yeah,
come on, dude.
we're so excited. VR with Unreal Engine 5. I have yet to try VR as well, but I've seen some like this is a little bit like sidetracking, but just like to piggyback on VR Iron Man. I saw a mod of it's this like combat game, right? Like medieval style combat game where there are like swords and like axes and you just like a battle
See
arena and you can
chivalry.
yeah, it no, it's literally something like that. It's like a
Yeah,
night game.
yeah.
Somebody's listening that can probably understand what I'm saying, but they modded it so it's like Star Wars. So your instead of your weapons being like a saber, it was a lightsaber. Like it
Boom,
was
boom.
instead of like a
Nice, dude.
dagger or like a sword, it was like a lightsaber. And the guy modded it so he had force abilities and he was like picking things up and
Oh,
throwing it at
dude,
people.
that's so
And he was
sick,
like jumping like super high up in the air. And it's like this is all in VR. It looks
dude.
seamless. At
Oh
one
man,
point, my man threw his lightsaber and, like, cause you have to activate it first, so it, like, literally, like, goes up. Like,
yeah.
it's the nuttiest mod I've ever seen. And he throws it like Darth Vader would, and he,
Yeah.
like, controls it. He's, like, slicing people up. I'm like, "Dude, VR is insane."
Oh yeah.
This is, like looks like an indie game.
Oh dude,
Um,
crazy man. Potential. Can you
yeah.
imagine jumping up high in the air in a VR game and it's like so real that you're like freaking out for a second? You're like, what's going on? You have to like rip that set off. Oh man,
Yeah, I totally could believe that.
getting to that point, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice.
For
I'm
sure.
actually excited. But I won't stop you from talking about the
Oh
next
man,
articles because
you you
you're
want to talk about
already grinning.
excitement? You want to talk about excitement, Mike? You want to talk
You've
about
been
it?
talking
You
about
gave
this
me
for
the
as long as I've known you.
ultimate transition right here. You remember? Do you remember a month ago, Summer Games
Yes, I
Fest?
did.
We got
Uh-huh.
completely baited by the Goat
Yep.
Simulator 3
Baited.
trailer. Completely. Dead
Yes.
Island 2. Is it gonna come? I don't know. After seeing that, I figured it would be another 5 years minimum.
That's
Well,
a fact.
happy to report that Dead Island 2 is very much it's very much alive, and apparently it's coming in February. To the latest
That's
rumors.
close,
Um,
man.
very close. An Amazon listing reveals the game's box art and some other details. Um, So again, quick recap. 9 years after the initial reveal, Dead Island 2 will release on February 3rd, according to a listing for the PlayStation 4 version on Amazon. That's naturally subject to change and could just be a placeholder. This being Dead Island 2, I wouldn't be surprised, but it does line up with recent hints by Embracer Group's CEO that the open world zombie game will be released in the company's 2023 fiscal year. The Amazon listing reiterates some of the points we've known about the game. Talks, of course, about it's a zombie game, stuff like that. They say that there's it's in Beverly Hills, takes place in L.A. They at one point coined it Hell A, which I thought was pretty good. It's a quirky promenade on Venice Beach. The combat is visceral and gory. All the common buzzwords. It's been confirmed since 2014 that Dead Island 2 will have at least 4 playable characters, but the Amazon listing bumps that up to 6. You can fully customize the abilities of each Slayer with our brand new skill system, allowing you to respec instantly and try out the craziest builds. They even, in this article from PC Gamer, they give out the full product description. And you'll see at the end here, it says, see you in Hell A. But yeah, Dead Island 2, thrilling first-person action RPG. It takes players across a brand new playground. Stylish, vibrant, and flooded with zombie infection. Exploring iconic, gore-drenched Los Angeles. Meet larger-than-life characters. Slay countless foes. And exquisitely bloody detail involved to become the ultimate zombie slayer. The idea, of course, deadly virus spreads. Been infected, but more than just immune, you learn to harness the zombie inside. Which sounds pretty interesting. So it's like you got infected, but you didn't turn, and so you have like these special abilities that like not the average person has. So you're like a super soldier. What it sounds like sounds pretty interesting.
It sounds similar to Blade. Have you ever watched the movie Blade or the trilogies?
That's one I want to get around to because I hear
Wesley
like it's
Snipes.
just insane. Yeah,
It's pretty amazing. Let's just put it
what I
that way.
heard.
Highly recommend checking it out. Its premise is that he is half vampire, half human. So he has all the strengths and like the abilities of a vampire, but he can't die to like sunlight
Mm,
or like
I see.
other traditional weaknesses of a vampire. So maybe you're immortal in this game?
Yeah, maybe. Here's the box art, by the way. This actually looks like real box art. I'm seeing this and I'm like, yeah, looks legit. Like this is what I would
It really
expect.
does.
It's really well done. I mean, definitely seems real. I love that font too on Dead Island 2. But yeah, just close out. It says it's already confirmed as an Epic Store exclusive, and chances are the PC version won't receive a physical box copy. And it will include some day one perks. It was mentioned above, just like mainly cosmetic things. The game is in development at Dambuster Studios after changing heads from Jaeger and then Sumo Digital. For those that don't know, too, Dambuster Studios, there's one other game they made before this, and that was Homefront: The Revolution. I don't know if you remember the Homefront games, like back in like 2018, I think.
Yeah.
It was a while ago they made those games, but yeah, I mean that's as far as I saw, at least according to Wikipedia, that was the only other game credit they had at Dambusters. But yeah, this game has been tossed around a lot in the past decade, Mike. So seems like we may finally get it next year. I'm excited,
Yeah.
dude.
7 months away. Less than 7 months away, really.
Yeah.
The box art looks good. The only thing that I'm looking at is like, why did they choose the PS4 case?
It's very
Why
true.
not PS5?
It gets me worried,
So
right? I mean,
it makes me feel like it's a leak of like maybe an old artist had his like original design saved on a personal device or something, and then like send it to somebody, or
maybe,
and it gets
maybe.
out.
Do you? All right, Dead Island
I think
2.
it's legit. I think it's
No,
happening.
no,
I'm being legit.
yeah,
I think it is happening.
I agree with you.
Um,
But picture this: Dead Island 2
okay.
drops, and it doesn't come out on PS5 or Xbox Series X. like,
Just PS4,
bro,
PS4, PC.
it's all last gen. It doesn't even come out on, dude. Oh, I mean, but like 9 years in the making, who knows, dude? Like, that could be a possibility. They just never got around to like next gen, which is now current gen. Like,
It would be so funny, man, if they did that and they came out and they were just like, "We've
dude.
just been working on the bugs."
Right?
The
Like,
game comes out flawless.
they're like, oh, we got a dev kit back in like 2017, but we didn't even get a chance to work
Yeah.
with it. So here you go. Like, oh man,
It's like one guy in a basement working on it this whole time.
Dude, yeah. I don't know. Here's to hoping that's not the case.
Oh,
But
I don't think it is.
but yeah,
I think this is like
it is a
I
good
think with
point
the
though.
success of it's not Left for Dead, Back for Blood. I
Mhm.
think that like the micro success of Back for Blood coming out kind of brought the zombie genre back to the forefront. Same thing with Days Gone, right?
Oh yeah,
Like there these are games that kind of are like even PUBG. Didn't PUBG no, Daisy. Daisy had
dude.
like an entire zombie like
Yeah,
aspect of it too. So these games like getting really popular, maybe it brought back the developers that are like, hey, dust off the code. Let's get back to work on
yeah.
this.
Well, I mean, you're forgetting the biggest zombie game release of this year. You're forgetting it, dude. It's back in February. Remember this? Bro,
Love for an answer.
Dying Light 2.
Oh,
Like,
Dying
come
Light 2.
on,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, yeah.
Forgot.
So well that's what I pictured when I said Days Gone, right?
Yeah, maybe you
Well, I
were.
gotta
I mean, Days Gone wasn't a bad game. I unfortunately it didn't do well enough to
Dying
garner a sequel, which is unfortunate, but it's the reality of that. Um, but yeah,
No,
I
I was
mean,
thinking of the right game when I said, Days Gone. Days
yeah,
Gone's the guy with the backwards hat that you did a live
yeah,
stream of.
yeah, I did
Yeah,
stream that
backwards
game.
hat biker guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, and that game's fun, and the fact that it didn't get a second game is very unfortunate. And it was
Yeah.
the dev. I mean, it's another story, but the dev essentially came out and said like, yeah, it didn't sell enough copies, and I don't know what to tell you. Like, we can't fund it. Like, the studio won't let us fund it. So it's like, well, that sucks.
Yeah. It's all about making money in the end.
Yeah,
So sad.
for real. But
'Cause it's art. Just make good
yeah,
games.
right. But yeah,
That's all.
but if the studio says, "Oh, you ain't gonna move enough copies, no microtransactions,"
Ugh,
hate it, dude.
whatever.
Hate it.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what, dude? Dead on two's coming. That's all that matters. You know, I think it's ironic too. Or ironic. I think it's a coincidence, or it's like it's may not be a coincidence that this game they leaked this, and then opening night live is next Tuesday. So it's like it's very close, and I feel like it could be like one of those things at opening night live. They're like, hey, Deep Silver's there, and they're just like, yo, here's that game you've been wondering, and that why it wasn't at Summer Games Fest. Here it is.
That's a good point. It's like, hey, check out these 4 images that are clearly from a newer game. A little bit updated graphics. Like, it looks cool too.
Yeah,
Um,
it does.
Definitely worth checking out. I love the art sequence, man. It's like the art of Los Angeles skyline. If you could pull that
Yeah.
up for the people watching on YouTube and Spotify video.
Dude.
That
Oh my gosh.
that one. Look at
Ooh,
that.
that's a good picture.
That looks nice, right? Like I really
Yeah.
like it looks like a painting, man. It
It
looks
kind of does,
really
yeah.
cool.
You see the nice
Um
the burning like
yeah,
outside the
like
city and stuff like that.
yeah, it looks like Armageddon or just fire season in Los Angeles. Uh,
Straight up.
which is kind of the same thing. Shout out to my family out in Orange County. Uh, yeah, but man, it like the graphics look cool, looks gory. I mean, I'm totally into this. I hope they have some type of VR adaptation to it because if games keep coming out with like VR, I'm gonna have to get this headset, man.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
that's what's gonna have to happen.
Yeah. New PC. My priority is like new PC. And then that headset, man.
VR,
Yeah, oh
yeah,
man. Because like a VR on like a brand new 40 series. Oh, it's gonna hit, dude. More than any VR has hit yet. So it's gonna be fun.
I'm thinking 30 series, but that is 6 months out of my budget.
You
So
know, same.
yeah, I got other things I got to take care of first.
Well,
Um,
I mean,
anyways,
a game that's not 6 months out of my budget though. Splatoon 3. You want to know why it's in
that's
the
what.
news? It's coming. It's coming out. Like, it's coming out, dude. It's September 9th. All right, that game's coming. But there was some news that dropped about that game.
Oh,
And it looks like Splatoon 3 is going to be using Nintendo's in-house server system, along with AMD Fidelity Effects Super Resolution. Splatoon 3 is right around the corner, and the Splatfest world premiere taking place on August 27th. Fans are more eager than ever to find out the third Inkfest, how the third Inkfest will play online. A little bit further down the article, it says that the game is actually utilizing the new in-house server system for online lobbies. This means that Splatoon 3 is now the third game to use NPLN, Nintendo's in-house server system, after Monster Hunter Rise and Pokemon Legends Arceus. Both previous Splatoon games use NEX, a system that originated on the 3DS and powered a few launch apps like your friends list. So it's like this old system that they were using for like, these old like 3DS stuff. They're finally like trying to migrate away from it. That's good news.
Good.
Um, like for real. While this will largely be used to enhance some of the game's new lobby features, it will improve some aspects of matchmaking, which will assist in the series peer-to-peer play. NPLN will attempt to match based on player latency and can act as a go-between if two consoles can't connect due to the NAT types. Oatmeal Dome on Twitter went into a little more detail. He even had a screenshot of some of the actual XML code. It was like
That's all you, man.
pointing to some of the classes that are used. Very interesting stuff there. Won't go too in depth. But that's not all that's coming to Splatoon 3. Also, according to the same account, it looks like the game will be using AMD Fidelity Effects Super Resolution 1.0, which was most recently used in Nintendo Switch Sports. This upscaling technology uses spatial upscaling, which uses data captured in the current frame and as a result can improve in-game performance and frame rate while ensuring the game looks as smooth as possible. These are great improvements for Splatoon 3. Server system seems to have worked wonders for Monster Hunter in particular, and hopefully AMD Fidelity Effects will keep those tricolor turf wars under control. The test will be next Saturday when the Splatfest world premiere occurs. The game launches on September 9th. So, I mean, what are you waiting for, dude? Are you ready to Splatoon it up? I don't even know if I played the first two games, I'll be honest. Maybe a little bit. I mean, I've seen gameplay, but...
I played like Splatoon 2. I forgot even whose house it was at, man. No, that is a lie. I do remember whose house it was at. It was my buddy's house, and it was before we were like leaving to go. I think we were going to like a music festival or something like that. And it was like he was taking forever to pack up his stuff, and he was already playing Splatoon. So I like walked in, he was playing Splatoon. He just hands me the sticks. He's like, "Hey, play this. I got to get some stuff and ready to pack the car." I'm like, "All right, whatever." Played for like 30 minutes. It's a lot of fun, man. It's
Yeah.
like it's a good concept. It's good for the normies. I told you before we started uh recording and going live for this that the person who cut my hair, we weren't even talking about video games at all. I was like we were like talking about something completely different, and when like conversations go through a little bit of a void,
Yeah.
and yeah, so it went through a void, and then she just goes, "So, you play any video games?" And I'm like, Do I really like look like I play a lot of video games?" Like it was like out of context, right? Like out of pocket. And I was like, yeah, I do, like, a lot. Yeah, definitely." And then she goes, "Okay, because Splatoon 3 is coming out." It's like she was just amped up.
So
It's
excited.
like, "Oh, yeah, man." She's like, "Me and my husband were, like, so excited we're gonna be playing it." I'm like, "Okay, alright,
It's
let's
amazing.
go." Yeah, it's a good game. Like, it looks good. So,
Yeah. Well, it
Spl
looks like
the
Nintendo's
Splatoon series.
yeah, I mean, it looks like Nintendo's throwing everything they got of this too to make it a good experience. So
Yes, an
um
online good experience too,
yeah,
which is key, man.
which I mean, from the little gameplay I've seen, I could see people easily getting irritated over like lagging or desync or something like that.
Oh,
It's like it's just like um so yeah.
have you ever played Nintendo games online before?
I've played only a couple, but I haven't heard. I mean, I heard some of the horror stories, but I never like personally
Yeah.
faced many of them because I just didn't play many online Nintendo games.
I've yet to do it on the Nintendo Switch. I know people that do it on, like, Animal Crossing. It's Animal Crossing, you're not, like, competing, you're just
Yeah,
walking around a
yeah,
map, right, and
right.
planting flowers. No offense, but I mean,
I mean,
it's
hey,
kinda what
that's
it is.
reality, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it's chill. But, like, the GameCube, this box right here that I got, I don't know if you
Yeah.
can see it because I got the little, filter on, but I tried to plug that sucker up and played Smash online, and
Oh,
it was horrific.
oh
It was
no, dude.
so bad, and there's, like, other games you could play 'cause there that ga like, GameCube could work online. A lot of
Yeah,
people don't know that,
yeah,
and it was really, really bad, so, Nintendo desperately needs to upgrade their internet and, like, server capabilities to make these games more enjoyable
yeah,
when it comes to, like, peer-to-peer stuff.
yeah. Well, it sounds like they're doing just that. Um,
Yep.
I will say the whole like Nat type thing. I think it's pretty cool that they're trying to like act as a go between for people because like that Nat type thing, especially in like college. I know like for me in college, like our local
Dude.
internet, like I would always have strict Nat type, so I couldn't. It was
Yep.
so hard for me to connect to people because like their firewalls are like they have like 10 layers like cemented
Well,
on one
yeah.
another, and it's like they don't want anything going in or out. So yeah, I knew that all too well. It was frustrating, man. You couldn't literally play with people like outside of the network.
Yeah.
It was annoying.
Yeah, I think I forgot what it was. So it was like 2009 and I was in the dorm and I was the only person in my 12-story dorm who knew how to get through the nats or like the
Oh,
firewall.
nice.
So I was playing like Gears of War and Halo and like I had buddies like coming over, they're just like, "How the heck are you playing online right now?" And I had to give them like an entire pamphlet of like how to do it. And they would occasionally like reset the firewall, so you had to redo it, everything.
Oh, dude,
Like,
yeah, it's
oh,
so annoying.
it happened like every month or so. They were just like, "Okay, wipe it clean." It was like changing a
Yeah,
password every month. It's like,
yeah.
"Come on, guy. It's not that serious."
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I mean they. I knew a little bit about it. I think because I was like pretty close with I like towards the end of my like my college career. I was pretty close with some of the IT at the at the college. So like I was friends with a couple of them, and they said like the main one of the main reasons they do that is because they if they don't they'll get like constant cease and desist for people like illegally watching stuff and like doing
Oh,
this
that
that and the
makes sense.
third. And it's
Yeah.
like he's like we get like continual cease and desists like all the time from like providers just being like, yeah, you have like students doing illegal stuff on the network, like this is not okay, kind of stuff. So they had to like try to avoid that as much as they could.
Yeah, I had a buddy, before he came to college, he ended up getting one of those letters
Yeah.
at the age of, like, 17
Oh, dude.
when LimeWire was a thing,
Yep.
and
Mm.
they sued him for, like, tens of thousands of dollars.
It's just it's
A
unreal, man.
17-year-old, bro.
It's unreal. Yeah, dude, that whole LimeWire thing. If you have not, and person listening or person watching, if you have not like actually seen the history of LimeWire, go look it up because it is fascinating. Like, oh, and like yeah. I mean, dude, LimeWire, Napster, like that whole thing is
Oh my
insane. Like music
gosh.
licensing and how it evolved. It kind of talks about how it also like how we evolved to like streaming and music. I don't know, I won't go too in depth, but it's insane, dude.
Yeah, it's the internet, it's the history of the internet. Fascinating.
Definitely gotta go check it out if you haven't. Also,
Um, yeah.
I want to check out Sony. There's a rumor mill going around that Sony could be working on their own proprietary PC game launcher. Right,
We
I
talked
might.
about this last episode, or even the episode before, when they started hiring for, the acquisitions, like,
Yeah,
senior manager
yeah, yeah. It's
specialist
definitely
person.
developing, right?
Yeah.
I will say, having their own PC launcher, we saw what happened with Bethesda. Like before I even read this, we already know what happened with Bethesda's launcher. Like but where is it?
It's
I know
gone.
where it is. I it's
Hello?
gone, dude. Like it did not survive.
No.
So I'm just like, before
Activision's
I even
next,
read
Battle.net
it, dude.
is
Yeah, before I
next.
even read it, dude. Like, there's a reason COD and all that went to BattleNet for PC. I'm just like
Yep.
just saying, dude. There's a reason. So, anyways, keep that in mind. But I will read the article, at least a little bit of it, of course. Um, Sony's been wading into the sweet waters of PC gaming with real intent over the past few years, with some very good ports of previously PlayStation exclusive hits, including Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, and coming soon, Uncharted. Um, it may be getting ready to go deeper with its own exclusive game launcher. VGC reports that references to a PlayStation PC launcher have been found in the files of the recently released PC version of Marvel's Spider-Man. Oh boy. So currently Sony's PC releases go where you'd expect them to, Steam and the Epic Game Store. But the reference to the separate PlayStation launcher opens a possibility that Sony could follow the steps of Activision and Bethesda by offering its games on its own whaled garden,
Well,
walled garden.
Walt
Why am I saying
Walt
whaled?
got
I can't read. Um,
there
given
ain't
that,
no
I know I don't know what I'm reading,
I'm
dude.
teasing.
My brain is fried. Given that PlayStation's games are already on Steam, my guess is that Sony will introduce the intermediary launcher, not unlike Ubisoft Connect, which contains a separate user profile and appears wherever you launch one of its games from Steam or Epic. Yeah, that's like the weird thing about like Uplay, right? If you're like, even
Oh,
if
I
you
hate
buy the
it.
game through Steam, it still launches through Uplay. So like, what's the point in getting the game through Steam? It makes no sense, dude.
Dude, yeah, it drives me insane. There's another one too that I absolutely hate is, anytime you get an EA so this is like okay, first of all, I'm about to show my age. Somewhere over here is this game. Oh my god. I don't know if you can hear me. This game right here. You see
Ooh,
this?
Need for Speed Underground.
The
Yeah.
first one.
First.
This game was pretty good online. Actually worked. It was actually. Sometimes you played against people from the West Coast, and it was not a good time. But the reason why I pulled that out is it's an EA game. It's an Electronic Arts game. And when they first started coming out, you had like EA made this switch from Xbox Live servers to EA servers. And the EA servers were dog meat. They were trash. They were trash. And they didn't upgrade the servers at all whatsoever. So what ended up happening was you would buy the game, you would log in to Xbox Live, verify that that was your game, right? You'd sign in with your Xbox Live account. You load up the actual game, and then it'd be like, "Oh, you want to play online? Okay, log into the EA servers." That's
Dude,
the same BS that they're doing in 2022 with Ubisoft. And if they do that with PlayStation, like, what are we doing here?
what are we
Because EA
doing, dude?
still does that. Have you played any EA games on the PC? You have to like go
Couple, yeah.
verify. I'm getting on a soapbox right now, but
I'm here for it, dude.
the truth, like it drives me insane that I get it. You're a publisher, but you're also not like a server based company. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Like if you're gonna play on a platform, play on a platform.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's the whole dude. This is why I've been preaching about Game Pass and Xbox and like just
Yeah,
kind of like not caring where you play. And it's
yeah,
like I mean, I want this like I want more platform agnosticity. That's probably not a word, but like, just being more platform agnostic. That's like what we need
yeah.
more of, and yeah, I mean, I know what you're talking about. Definitely, you play an EA game. It's like, oh, you gotta log in, or like, I think some of them are like, oh, you can log into like track leaderboards and stuff, and you just never do. It's like, what's the point? And but it's like,
No,
yeah, dude, do you play games? Do you play on Steam? Why am I getting on Steam when like I still have to log in and verify through Uplay? It's just pointless, man.
yeah.
I
And,
mean,
and two or 3 years ago, PlayStation came out and said that they record voice communications on PlayStation, the PlayStation 5 and 4 now. They
yeah,
issued an update over the voice. It's like that could be a privacy issue for a lot of people, but are they going to implement that with PC? And for the record, this is technically a rumor because it's just a
yeah,
file name that they found in the
right,
game.
yeah,
So this could be like, let's say a developer at Sony it has the rights to like go through Spiderman, and they're like, okay, how do we port it to PC? And then they just create like an in-house. Oh, it's a PC launcher.
yeah,
Let's name it
yeah,
PlayStation because that's our parent company.
yeah.
Uh,
Definitely. I
who
mean,
knows?
yeah, it could be anything, right? We won't know for
Yeah,
sure
that's what I'm getting
until
at.
yeah, we won't know for sure until an announcement. Hey, Gamescom's next week. I don't even think PlayStation's
Yeah.
going to it, so I don't think it matters. But whatever. Maybe they'll do a sneak appearance. I don't know. But yeah, there's a little bit of an explanation further down in the article. It says moving to a proprietary platform would potentially allow PlayStation to make more money from fewer sales, as the publisher has to fork over a 30% cut to Valve on all Steam sales, reducing 25% after 10 million earned and 20% after 50 million earned, and a somewhat less 12% to Epic for EGS sales. Epic's, they get more money. They don't have to worry about it. We're not talking about couch change either. Sony predicted in May that it will earn 300 million in PC game sales in 2022, a huge jump from the 80 million it earned in 2021 and 35 million it earned in 2022. Even if it's their own launcher in play, I strongly suspect that the vast majority of PlayStation PC sales would continue to be made through Steam. But a standalone launcher could simplify the process of integrating PlayStation Network functionality into its games, for instance, and possibly even gamer-friendly features similar to Play Anywhere on Xbox, which grants multi-platform access to games regardless of which platform they're actually purchased for. Which is a good point. It's definitely be easier if Sony, if they, you buy it on console, but you also got it on PC through their launcher. I mean, I guess not a bad
Yeah.
idea. But I mean, and with these acquisitions, is Sony going to be pushing more and more towards kind of the Xbox model of put it down on the console, but also have the option on PC, and also in tandem develop a port for PC they can run it off, or if they want to do like PlayStation streaming or whatnot, if they want to use their PS Now and just like have you stream the game on PC, without having to develop a port. I don't know. There's probably a couple options there they can go with, but I mean, it's probably inevitable that they do something like that. They probably should do something like that, for being honest, but who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think they're gonna do it. Like, it makes sense for each individual publisher to make that happen, have their own individual launchers and stuff like this for a marketplace. But man, it's so annoying as a consumer,
Yeah,
you know? It's
yeah,
like, how many launchers do you have on your PC right now? 'Cause
yeah.
I think I have like 5. Like, it's annoying. I have 2 EA
4.
ones. I don't know which one I'm supposed to use.
I have Origin, I have EA Play. Which one?
Yeah, what? I don't know what to do. Like, sometimes, like, one works, the other one doesn't.
Yeah,
And if I do them in the wrong order, I have to reset my PC or, like, Alt F4 it. It's
I mean, dude.
embarrassing, man.
Yeah, I mean, what if you have a game on Steam and you download it on Xbox? Like, which one do I use, dude? like,
Uh,
like you could be like using up like disk space and not even know it, dude. Never know.
I will say here's a hot take that I don't fully believe, but it's a hot take nonetheless. It's gonna get so bad on PC that people are gonna start buying consoles for convenience sake.
Oh man,
Yep,
that's pretty hot. Not gonna lie.
yep.
I mean, yeah. This is the thing. This is the thing, Mike. Do they really need the money? No. Are they gonna get?
No,
Do
they
they
don't.
do they want the money? Yes.
They're gonna get that money. They're gonna get that money.
And like they do have to give a pretty strong cut, at least on the Steam side, for like putting the game on there. If they went like Epic exclusive, could you imagine that kind of deal like Epic could get? If they just like put all their PlayStation games. I mean, it seems like they are more inclined to put it on Epic, considering it's only 13% or 12 or however much the take was. Um, so certainly far less. I don't know, man. I'd love to see more PlayStation games on PC. That means they have to go away from Steam. Consumer, not the best decision I feel like for the consumer, but I guess at least get the games on PC. I don't know.
Yeah.
It is what it is, I guess. Make your money, Sony. Mike, you know
All
what?
right.
Do you know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be missing on launch. Okay, do you know this, dude?
Is it delayed?
Yeah, so there's a bit of a delay. AMD Ryzen 7000 CPUs could be delayed for a worrying reason. BIOS issues
Oh.
is at the header of this article. This is from Tech Radar. Ryzen 7000 CPUs have been pushed back slightly in terms of the on-sale date when chips will hit the shelves, if further chatter from the grapevine is to be believed. So as ever, exercise plenty of skepticism around this, as the source isn't the strongest. From some chipple forums in China, but has provided accurate enough leakage at times in the past. The rumor comes from a reviewer on the site who posted a claim that AMD has changed the NDA to account for a postponed launch. Multiple previous rumors contended that AMD was shooting for a September 15th release date of these Zen 4 CPUs, following a launch event which has now been confirmed for August 29th. This was the rumored date, and it turned out to be accurate. Now the release has been delayed to September 29th. The aforementioned reviewer reckons. Doesn't seem like, I guess, too big of a delay, but definitely not as bad as I was originally anticipating. But yeah, it certainly comes from the rumor mill that at least a couple of weeks, maybe added on to the launch. Hopefully not longer. And there's a little more detail. It says, so the analysis is trying to make sense of the rumors, of all of the rumors. Says a launch date of September 27th, just a couple days off from a new rumor has been floating by other sources. Ryzen 7000 release would go directly up against Intel's Raptor Lake unveiling. It's their new processors as well. It's not the reason given here, which is that the BIOS needs further work. If true, the worry here is that anything that's worth delaying the launch for could point to a thornier problem that's jumping to conclusions mind. And there's also the fact that this reported launch date happened. This launch delay happened before AMD announced its big reveal. Hopefully, this suggests nothing too major in the way of any potential BIOS hitch, as otherwise, Team Red might have rethought its whole launch schedule, including the unveiling. So yeah, I mean, it seems like potential BIOS issues here for the most part, but well, we may see at least a brief delay on a Zen 4 unveiling, and the chip should follow later this year. Still, fingers crossed. I mean, dude, Zen 4 though. I mean, I'm willing to wait a little bit, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on the same boat as you, man. So, like, we heard rumors about Zen 4 and how it was actually gonna end up, when they were gonna be coming out. We've been hearing rumors about, like, how, the RAM is actually gonna be faster, it's gonna be better improvements overall to the CPU, like, the compatibility with it, and how their new chipsets are gonna work with motherboards, and, like, all of this has been kind of leaks here and there, so it's not that big of a deal that they're gonna be pushing it out for a couple more weeks.
Yeah,
My opinion. 2 weeks, that's not a big deal to me. The other thing is too, it's like, I feel like all these chip manufacturers, whether it's a GPU or CPU, they're all pushing their dates out right now, like, just further, like, I think NVIDIA is ready to launch their new graphics cards, but they're just like, "Okay, we need to sell, like, some more first
yeah.
of the older generations."
Hell
Um,
yeah.
that's, like, an entirely different issue. AMD, I don't think, has that issue. I don't think a BIOS issue is really that big of a deal. I think they just wanna I mean, if I'm AMD and I'm in their position as, like, an exec, I just wanna make sure that the launch is seamless
Yeah,
because for the last, what, 3, 4 years, they've been rushing it. They, like, finally caught up to Intel
right.
and pretty much, like, on the CPU front, and it just, like, why would you wanna mess up a good thing, right?
Yeah, you
Like,
definitely don't want to. Um,
no, I think AMD is on the right track, especially with, like, if they find a hitch with their BIOS, I think it's wise to delay it. Make sure it's working first before it's released to the public.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, everything's kind of a yeah, I mean, a couple weeks, whatever, dude. It's still going to be releasing, I think, at a pretty good time, especially around like Intel and whatnot. So they're not too worried about it for the most part. But yeah, I mean, I think BIOS issues for the most part. Um, I mean, again, it could be a good thing, a good thing. It could be a not so bad thing, or it could be detrimental. So, it's definitely one of the. It could be one of the two. But speaking of hardware, though, I did want to move on to Intel's Arc, new Arc GPU, the Arc A580 graphics card. It's saying that their recent benchmark reports is that it's passing the 3050 ashes of the Singularity benchmark, which is pretty. I mean, pretty solid benchmark there. Um, it's part of the new lineup coming up. The new specs have launched. I'm just want to show off some of the variants of the kind of the rumored lineup for these cards. And they're on the screen now for those watching. But so this is it's the 580. I mean, especially in this tier, the 580 seems to be kind of on the kind of mid range more towards the lower end. And it's surpassing a 3050. That's pretty exciting stuff, I think, on the Intel side, because I wasn't sure what to expect really, but especially like new GPUs, um, I was a little worried that it wouldn't be as good as Nvidia, and that's still a possibility, but at least on the low budget in Nvidia, I mean, if this is keeping up with the 3050, that's not bad, man. It's not bad.
Yeah, the only concern I've seen is the prices. So, like, the price of this new Intel graphics card and how it compares to NVIDIA in particular, and also AMD, because AMD is like, I don't think either one of them, Intel or AMD, is ever going to catch up with NVIDIA. Or I shouldn't say ever, right? Because anything can happen,
Yeah,
but not anytime soon, I don't think. And so they really, really got to target the price evaluation of their cards in order to make it competitive. Because it's like, if you can spend 50 to $100 more and get like a substantially better card, why don't you do that?
yeah,
Or it could be the opposite, because from what we've read in the past, it's like Intel might be just overpriced, really.
yeah. I mean, they certainly got the lead of the market, right? So it gives them that
Yeah.
advantage to maybe upscale in price a little bit. But I mean, hey, I'm always down for new competitors. We saw what it did whenever AMD
Exactly.
finally woke up. So it's
Yeah.
so
They're
there.
panic mode.
Yeah, just a little bit of the article. It says as for the performance itself, the Intel Arc A580 was tested in the Ashes Singularity benchmark with an undisclosed Intel 12th or 13th gen CPU featuring a total of 16 cores. Performed well on the 1080p minimum preset under the Vulkan API, scoring an average of 95 FPS, which puts it on par with the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060, which scores up to 96 FPS in the same test. That's over Vulkan. Considering that the 3060 is at least 35 to 40% faster than the 3050, it looks like the Arc A580 from Intel has no trouble outperforming the Green Team's $250 US solution. But at the same time, one should keep in mind that this is one benchmark, and Vulkan API is the best case scenario for Arc GPUs, considering they are designed with modern APIs in mind. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a caveat there that they're using
Yes.
Vulkan, but
Yeah.
it's still not bad, man. I mean, I think it's especially like it's definitely certainly competitive with AMD too, especially against that kind of frames.
Exactly. Yeah, we talked about this, what, maybe 3 or 4 episodes ago about how Intel was using the DX12. That's basically the next, paragraph in this article. It's
Yeah.
about, like, the DX12 games or the games that are using DX12, DirectX 12. Intel's actually great for it, like, really, really good
Yeah.
performance. But the problem is that with the new cards that they released, it wasn't really backwards compatible in a way. Like, they had more challenging but it was a little bit more challenging to do DX10 and 11.
Yeah.
But they did say that they were working on improving that and designing cards specifically for, like, DX9, 10, and 11, and
Mm.
also be good on 12. So it's basically like a new team, I think, right? Like new research and development, revitalizing the old cards and bringing it all back.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's good.
Definitely.
It's really good to have this competition, like three heavy hitters coming in. That's nice.
Yeah.
So just the two or the one for a while.
Yeah, for sure. To close out the article too, it says Intel stated that they will share more details such as price, performance, features, um, and availability before the products go on sale. So expect more information in the coming weeks. The launch of high-end Intel Arc discrete graphics cards is scheduled for next month. Time of writing this, it is August. So September we should hear more. I feel like September is going to be a big month across the board for most of the most of the PC parts. It's also the time iPhone stuff gets announced. I'm excited for that because I
Yeah,
need a new phone, man. And we're
we're
already in
we're
August.
getting
Oh, we're getting there.
yeah we're getting to like the American Black Friday sales.
I'm
So
saying, yeah,
we're like getting to that territory where we're about what 4 months out,
yeah,
not three. No, that's not how math works, Mike. 3 months out.
dude,
So
it's crazy, man. It's so
yeah,
crazy. Um,
and when it happens, it like everything's gonna be out. It's gonna be sick.
yeah.
I wonder if they'll do Black Friday sales for the RTX 30 series
Oh, you know they are,
3000s.
dude. Especially if they have to
Yeah,
get rid of stock, dude. You know they are, man.
yeah,
If it's still bad,
yeah.
then oh, could you imagine? It's like end of November and it's still bad.
Oh god, that'd be
Oh,
sick.
dude. Yeah, sales at the fall's gonna hit, and that's when everything hits. So excited, man. I am excited. I don't have too much else to go through. I did want to say before we kind of close out, there are actually 10 titles that are going to be removed from Xbox Game Pass at the end of this month, so in about 2 weeks. And there's some pretty big titles. I'll go through them. Elite Dangerous, Hades, Mist, NBA 2K22, Signs of the Soignier, I think it's how you say that. Spiritfarer, 12 Minutes, 2 Point Hospital, What Remains of Edith Finch, and World War Z are all going to be out of Game Pass. They're due to remove on August 31st. I mean, the ones that kind of point out to me the most, Hades, NBA 2K22. Those are the two biggest. 2 Point Hospital is also one I've heard of. 12 Minutes is a huge, like, I saw a bunch of like streamers especially play 12 Minutes. That's like a very fun game. It's kind of repetitive, kind of like Groundhog's Day type thing.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, What Remains of Edith Finch, that's like a huge like single player game. So some pretty big titles here they're going to be leaving. So if you have not played any of these, you got 2 weeks. I would recommend to go and play some of them because they're really good games. I mean, Hades alone, that's like game of the year last year. It's like that's
Yeah, it
like
was. And
crazy.
Hades was on Game Pass for like since it launched
Yeah,
until now.
and now it's leaving.
So
It's crazy.
yeah, you need to check that out.
Um,
I know a lot of people that are big fans of NBA 2K22 and 12 minutes. Like I thought it was pretty cool looking. Um, I don't know if it's for me though. I think it's more of like I could watch party that, you know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's also some new Also, of course, some new indies coming out in the next couple of weeks before the end of August too. So definitely just keep an eye out on Game Pass. See what'll be coming in, and then play some of the games that are going to be departing soon if you haven't already. Yeah, I don't know, Mike. I think that was for the most part that was kind of all I had to cover. I think that was
I think we covered it.
all the stories I got, man.
I'm excited to see what develops in the news over the next week. There's been a couple of news drops here and there today, uh, but I felt like it wasn't really ready to talk about. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, definitely not.
So,
I mean, also some things to look out for. Next week, Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is going to be opening night live, Gamescom Germany. Definitely worth the watch, especially if if Dying Light 2, not Dying Light 2, Dead Island 2 is there. There's too many D's, man.
it's gotta be right.
Dead Island. I mean, I feel like Dead Island 2's got to be there. They got to do some crazy release or something like that. Some crazy launch, trailer or something. But yeah, there's also other titles that are going to be there. We're definitely going to be covering the highlights next week, so stay tuned for that. Definitely going to be a part of next week's show. Also next Tuesday. Tuesday's a big day, dude. There's a lot going on. Tuesday, my game for August is coming out. That is Saints Row, the reboot. Super excited for that. I'm definitely going to try and get at least a little bit of gameplay in before the show next week. Maybe talk about my first impressions.
It's a good idea.
Hopefully, yeah. But yeah, we got news is gonna be picking back up a little bit next week, so I'm excited to report on all the Gamescom stuff. And yeah, other than that, I mean, I think again next month's gonna be huge for hardware. Excited for that. Get to report on all the new stuff there. And then we got the fall, dude. Got God of War coming out. We got all these games, man. Everything's still in the works, dude. Winter's gonna be crazy. But yeah, it's just looking crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely looking bright in my opinion. I'm really excited for the games that are going to be coming out and all the hardware. I want to see what happens with these AMD CPUs when they're fully launched. I want to see how good these 40 series are, but the 40 series I think we're a couple months away.
Yeah, very close, right? Very close.
Yeah. All the rumors are out. It's just a matter of time until people start leaking performances and then prices. So
yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Any day now. Man. Yeah, any freaking day.
All right, we closing out. I think that was the weekend review, right?
Yeah, that was it, dude. That's all I got.
Okay. Well, if anybody wants to see any of the links or any of the articles that we actually covered, the links are in the description below. We have short links for it with descriptions and timestamps for anybody that's watching on mobile or, yeah, pretty much all platforms. MT Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Anthony. My co-host here, KyleHeath, Mr. JK Heath.
It's me.
And you can find both of us on Twitter and Discord. All links in the description too.
Yeah, yeah. Be sure to check out the links, man. If you want to connect with any of us, hop in the Discord.
Yeah.
Talk, just have some conversation, man. Let's talk about some stuff.
Yeah, if you see articles that you feel like be of interest or you want us to cover, post in the Discord.
Yeah, dude. We got the newsstands, dude, in our Discord. We always post articles, man. Spam it, dude. Post it 10 times, man. Add some buffer.
Yeah. Pretty much. All right, so without further ado, we'll let you go. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Yeah,
Peace out.
Good week, everyone. Bye.